Officially starting our class this time, and Scott tells us he's had an interesting experience he wants to share with us. So we're going to start out with hearing what he has to say. We'll turn it over to you, Scott.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to start off by saying that this happened 10 weeks ago, and I was impressed to share it with the group, and I didn't. It's a degree of difficulty that I'm going to be able to share this. It's not an easy thing for me to do, and last time I was here, you asked me for an update on my progression in the soul contact course, and I lied and told you I couldn't come up with anything, and that was not true. I'd already been being impressed to share this, and I didn't do it then, and then I've skipped meetings because I didn't want to be asked again. And anyway, I've been tormented to the point that now I'm just going to tell it and get it off my chest and be done with it and move on.
Sounds interesting, whatever it is.
For my journey with the Soul Contact course started last May, sort of maybe in June, and the biggest thing that there were several little things that I have overcome and my soul has helped me with. The biggest thing is not being worthy to be in this group, not being worthy for anything good to happen to me, not being, those things plagued me. And this was right after my dad died. Understand that this is my dad who I loved, and he adopted me, and he married my mom, and he adopted me and my brother, and my biological father is not who I'm talking about. He passed away, and then I had this experience with my soul, and these happen at work. I do heavy equipment, and I've been doing it long enough to know what I'm doing, and so I can get lost in thought, and I can think of things I want to think about and just go on autopilot and do my job. But I had an experience where my soul intertwined with me. A lot of these things, guys, I don't know the words you guys use because I'm fairly new to this, and so I just come up with my own words. But it felt like a total immersion of me into my soul, of my soul into me. It's eerie and it's spooky that we did the guided meditation today, because this is what happened. And I have a hard time. I've thought about it a lot of how to explain it, and I just hope I can explain in a way that is understood a little bit. But the way I came up with to explain it is that if you had a dashboard in front of you and you had all the good values and characteristics of a man on that dashboard, and they had indicator lights from 0 to 100. When my soul was immersed with me, they were all on 100, and I was the man that I've always dreamed of being, but I've never been. And it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I came away with that with a new saying. This was my major breakthrough for overcoming not being worthy. And the saying that was spoken to me was, it doesn't matter what I've done, it only matters what I become. And then I got into, a lot of these things are like fertilizer pellets. You know, you throw fertilizer pellets on the ground and they give off their nutrients for months to the plants. And a lot of these things are the same way. And so I came away with that. That's a mantra that I say often in my mind every day. That was the first one. And then I
Now, what triggered this in you? Was it when you started the course? Was it that triggered it, or what triggered?
No, this happened in November after my dad passed, but this was part of the course.
Yeah.
So I understanding how to contact my soul and then making the attempts, you know, to do it. And I stay on a lesson until my soul teaches me what I need to know about the lesson. And that's why I've been doing this for 9 months or 10 months, and I'm only in the 40s on the lessons, because I won't move on until I understand. And
okay.
So I'm going along, and my second problem that that I came up with, it's not that I just came up with it, I've had it for a long time, and that is that I didn't think I could participate in a molecule because I'm broken. And I have a broken mind, and my girlfriend Jamie is looking at me right now because she doesn't know what I'm talking about. It's because this is the first time I've ever told anyone this stuff. And but I'm not, you know, I don't function the same way as other people, and I have had problems throughout my life. And the start of this was my biological father he raped me and my brother and beat us regularly, and then there was some other things that I have categorized as worse than that that's happened when I was little. And from this, I've gotten problems. You know, I call them demons. I was treated for depression and thoughts of suicide for the first time when I was 7. And I never told anybody, and my brother never told anybody. And bad things happened to my mom, but my mom finally left him and married the man who's my dad, who just passed away. And me and my brother have never even spoken to each other about these things. And I call them my demons, all the problems that go along with that. And you know, I've spent time in everything I've ever tried in my life. There's a self-destruct thing in me that I ruin it. I ruin it, and I ruin everything around me. And I spent 12 years in prison, and this has been my life. And so I was at work again, and I was in deep thought about this, because I didn't know if I could function in a way that would be proper to be a member of this group, to be a member of a molecule. And then my soul came and immersed with me again. And it was, I can't describe the beauty and the power that happens when this happens. I don't know how to describe it. And I was enjoying this, and I didn't want to be bothered, and I went into deep thought, and we all have two-way radios. I work in that gold mine, and all the different equipment has two-way radios, and there was times people called me and I just ignored it because I didn't want to be bothered. And then I started contemplating this problem that I perceived as a problem. And I'll say my soul was in me, but I could see he was a part. It was as if he was me. He's in my body, but I could see as if I was looking from the outside in, and I could see as if I was looking from the inside out at the same time. And it felt like he took my hand and began to walk, but he was in my body, so he didn't take my hand and begin to walk. He was in me, and I knew we were walking into the darkest parts of my mind. And when we got to this is difficult. Hang on. When we stopped walking, we began to build a house, and it was beautiful. And we built a garden, and it was beautiful. And when we were done with that, it dawned on me that it was the parable of decision that I had read 20 years ago. And then he began to sing in this beautiful song, and it was him, but it was me that was singing this beautiful song, and we were standing in this garden, and he was singing, and then as he continued to sing, it became lighter and lighter, but inside of me there was this love, and I don't know if that's the right word. It was a power, and it felt like love to me, but it started expanding exponentially. It wasn't like it just went from one octave to the next octave. It was 100 times 100 times 100. And I felt as if I was going to explode because it was so powerful. And then there was a point, I've never seen anything. I was in the side of my body looking out, and I was on the outside looking in, and I saw my face. And I was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And it kept getting lighter until it was just perfectly light. And then I saw these dark objects approaching us, and I knew what they were. They came in the form of these demonous monsters, but I felt their presence. I know the energy they bring, and they were my demons that I've dealt with my whole life. And they came in, and they were vicious. And in times past, when this energy comes, it depends where I'm at in my life. There's times I fight against these things, and there's times I just curl up and start crying and give in. And but I didn't feel any fear. It was a complete absence of fear. And when they saw that, they became more aggressive and intense. And when they looked me in the eye, I could see out of my eye, but I saw my face, and it was just a loving smile that was on my face. And inside me, my soul said, "You will tread here no more." And then I could feel them, and I could see from inside them, I could look out their eyes into mine, and I could feel what they felt, and they felt fear, and they fled and left, and then this went on for a while. I just enjoyed being there so long. There was a physical manifestation. There's a guy at work. It's just the way it is. We didn't get along, and he was coming over the radio and saying snide remarks that were trying to bait me into a confrontation. We've been heading in this direction. We're probably going to end up out in the parking lot duking it out. And but I ignored the radio, and then he started saying these compliments, and then I thought, is he just complimenting me because he's trying to bait me into this confrontation? And then he started chastising some of the younger people and telling them they better start watching me, and they better start working like me, and that I was the best worker he'd ever been around in his whole life. And it almost sounded like his voice was cracking at times. This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. And I knew that it was something that was happening to me that was affecting him at the same time. But I still didn't get back on the radio because I didn't want to be bothered. I just wanted to enjoy this, and this thing, and it finally went away. But it lasted for a few days, the after effects, and then it was a special thing for me. I was impressed to share it. I didn't want to share it. Then I've been tormented, and I knew I had to do this and get it done with, and or it I wouldn't be at peace. But some of the after effects of that was that while I was there was a time back in September where Nick, at the very close of the meeting, it was just seconds before the meeting ended, he said that he was impressed by his soul to say that he felt that belief was going to be a problem with forming the molecule, and I got an answer to that. And I wanted to share that, and the belief is this. The answer is this: it's when we're combined with our soul, when we're immersed in our soul. I'm not the one to ask of why this is it, why it is this way. There's a complete absence of fear. There's a complete absence of confidence. They don't need confidence. And so where my confidence can go up and down depending on whatever, they operate under something different. And it's not a matter of if they can do it, it's just if they do it. If they choose to do something, they do it, and it gets done. And the only problem will be, can 24 people combine with their souls? When we're combined with our souls, we're God's. And the feeling that I enjoyed at that time, these are some of the words that I had to search for. I had to search for a long time to find words, but I had a feeling of limitlessness. I've never felt this before, and I've never felt any of this before, but it was limitlessness, and I knew at that point in time, because I had cast away the Bible a long, long time ago, and it is a book of fairy tales and illusions and so forth, and there wasn't anything in there for me. But I'm telling you now that if I am immersed in my soul, whatever I'm called upon to do, I can do. It doesn't matter if you If I'm called upon to kill a giant, I can kill a giant. If I'm called upon to go into a furnace and stand there, I can do that. If I'm called upon to remove a mountain or a whole mountain range, it doesn't matter. The power is there to do that. The power is there to do anything when we're immersed with our souls. And I knew that. In that moment in time, I knew that. And now I've had 10 weeks to sit back and watch myself and observe my actions and my behavior. And of course, the feelings of doubt came in, and you know, was I delusional? Did I have a daydream? Did I, you know, was I being tricked by something? All of those things have come and gone, and I've watched my behaviors. I believe 100% I'm healed. Those things do not affect me anymore. And the mantra that was given to me at that time, in the moment, was that if Jesus can do it, then why can't I? That is the level of belief that I had at that time when I was immersed with my soul. If Jesus can do it, then why can't I? And I saw no reason why there would be any difference in what we were able to do and what we were able to accomplish. And just one last thing, you know, as I sat and contemplated a lot of things while I was in my soul, and I got a pretty good understanding. I don't know if I have a perfect understanding, but I have at least a beginning of an understanding of the difficult things, the traumatic things that have happened in my life. I picked, and it was to make me stronger. It was all to progress myself, and you know, and I chose to be a victim my whole life because of these things. To be a victim and to get people to feel sorry for me, and to just play that victim role, and never understood, you know, until this point in time, that I chose this to make me stronger, to accomplish things that I need to accomplish. And given to me, what was that phrase? I'm looking at my notes. I have to write notes. According to my capacity to understand. So I don't know if I had the capacity to understand until this point in my life, but I understand it now, and I think things have happened to broaden my capacity to understand, so that I could understand. Well, that's how it works. We progress, and we have to go through things to broaden our capacity to understand. And when that happens, then we get a greater understanding, and then it starts all over again. But as I was contemplating, before this second time, based on the first time my soul immersed with me, I wanted to form this prayer. And I did an outline of the prayer, but I forgot how JJ taught us how to pray. It's a different way. All I could remember is there was a different way. I couldn't remember exactly how to do it. And I hadn't found the writings on how to do that yet, but I wrote an outline of the prayer and of what I wanted to accomplish. And I'm reading it now from my notes. It says, a love that is stronger than fear, demons, addictions, and the thorn in Paul's flesh. I have a few thorns. I don't know what Paul's thorn was, but I have a few thorns of my own. And this was the outline of the prayer. And then as I go back through my notes, I seen that this experience answered everything in that prayer. And even though I hadn't formulated the prayer correctly, every part of it was answered. And when I was immersed in the soul, the statement came to me, let it be. I'm the one, any obstacle in my life, I'm the one creating the obstacle, and I'm the one that cowers down to it and doesn't climb it. And And my soul said, just let it be. If this is what you want, then let it be. I'm the one that's holding myself back. And anyway, that's it. So there's everything.
Okay, well, that's quite a story. What was it that triggered the experience? Was it you like seeking within, or was there any particular thing that triggered this whole experience?
The whole experience started because I'm doing the soul contact course and I'm learning how to contact my soul. But the thing that triggered these specific events was problems that I felt were too big to overcome. And the first one was that I'm not worthy, and that triggered the first event. The second one was that the problem of I have a broken mind and I don't think I can participate on a level necessary to be a part of a molecule. And just
Those
going into
go
deep
ahead.
contemplation on those is what I think triggered these events.
Yeah, those are two biggies. When people or have guilt and they feel that they're not good enough, those two things are the biggest obstacles to soul contact. They're bigger obstacles than your real flaws, you know. Say you maybe get angry or something like that, or, you know, we all have our imperfections. Stub your toe and you let out some curse words. Those type of things are not nearly as difficult to overcome as just the general feeling of guilt and that you're not good enough. And but the soul and the higher lives don't look on things that way. They look on um, uh, they just look upon us as people that need obstacles removed from our consciousness so we can accept that which is higher. That's all they look upon. They don't look upon Scott and say, now Scott said these naughty words at this particular time or whatever, you know. That's not the way they look on us. They look on us as what we need to do just to remove the guilt and the feelings of unworthiness and imperfection, because we're never going to be perfect enough. As most of you remember, if you went to a regular church, I mean, everybody had prospects of going to the highest heaven, but who felt really worthy enough to be there now? I don't know anybody that feels like they're all ready to go there now, you know. But from a higher point of view, we are all ready to go there right now. The only thing holding us back is our consciousness, not something we've done in the past, because none of us have a perfect past. It's now, which is important. Forget the past, just open the avenues of communication. That's all our soul wants. And Scott, it sounds like he opened the avenues of communication, and even though he's had a lot of personality problems in his past, he was able to open it up. Does that make sense to you, Scott?
I think that because I've thought a lot about this, and I'll just give you a quick thing. I look at these two problems stopped me when Lorraine introduced me to JJ's writings 20 years ago while I was in prison, and I was so excited. I felt this was the answer. It just, everything clicked so well. I didn't know how to soul contact, but the two main problems were these two that I have recently overcome, and I fell away because I didn't want to be a burden, and I didn't want to become a problem to the molecule forming. And I thought it would be better if I wasn't a part of the group. But events have happened to bring me back, and my perception, and it's my perception is I see myself just like in uh, the last Samurai movie with Tom Cruise. You know, he had done everything. He couldn't live with himself because of the things he had done in the Indian Wars and killed women and children and so forth. And he became an alcoholic, and he didn't have enough courage to kill himself, but he wanted to kill himself. And that's where I was. And I wanted this. I look at this group as the samurai people in that movie. You guys you have no idea how much I am admire and respect you, and am honored to be a part of these classes and to be numbered among you. It's amazing to me. And
Scott,
no, I've had this
Scott,
hunger.
we're happy to have you with us. We're happy
Well, I
to have you
appreciate
with
that.
us because none of us are perfect. None of us are perfect, and you fit right in, buddy.
I've had this hunger that I'm going to make this work or die trying, and that's where I've approached this from, and I think that's I've never done this before, and so I really don't have anything else. I do now. I understand things better now, but I didn't have much to live for. I've ruined everything in my life, and I didn't have much to live for, and this has given me a purpose and something to live for, and I'm going to make it work or die trying.
Well, that sounds great. Does anybody have any comments or questions for Scott?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm glad that you decided to share that and worked up the courage there. I think it's good, and it speaks to not a character fault, but I guess what would the word be? Character virtue. Because, you know, it wasn't just some fleeting impression that you felt unsure talking about. There was some pretty personal stuff and some deep stuff and heavy stuff.
When you said samurai, Joshua, it made an image of you come up. I figured you probably like that imagery.
Well, I'm not big into samurais in particular, but I did have an impression to reach out, Scott, if you ever want to talk more about this stuff, about any of the things you were mentioning.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you can message me on Facebook. You know how to do that?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments or questions for Scott?
Yeah, when I do coaching and I encounter these kind of challenges, I encourage you to create a new vision of where you'd like to see your life go and write it down. So create a new vision and remember the scripture that says, "For I, the Lord, create a new heavens and a new world, and the old shall not be remembered, and neither shall it come to mind." So all of your past, the things that have happened to you, don't stop dwelling on them. Don't talk about them. Don't give them any energy. Just focus on a new vision of your life, the way you'd like to see it go, the steps you'd like to take to make that vision a reality. And remember that we're all connected. It's like Stacy said, we're all in this together. Nobody's perfect. And the way to achieve serenity and inner peace is through connecting with us, connecting with the light of your soul, which doesn't register your imperfections. That's just your personality speaking. So, you know, just move forward into your new vision and be happy with it. Forget your past.
Thank you. And who just said that?
That was Curtis.
Oh, Curtis. Okay.
Curtis is
Thank you,
my
Curtis.
nephew.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions for Scott or comments?
Yeah, I would like to say something. Two things. Many times, unfortunately, a person has to hit rock bottom before they can see their way forward. And that might be, you know, what's happened to you, Scott. and someone, you know, doesn't know that that's happened to them until they are starting to move forward. But, and this might seem like a bit of a dichotomous sort of thinking, but it kind of piggybacks on something Curtis said. You really can't dwell on the past. You have to leave it there. The past is something that's never going to come back. You know, it's gone, and the future hasn't happened yet. So all we really have is the now. And I think that, you know, the more we focus on the now, the better off we are, because time as we know it is really just an illusionary kind of principle. Because, like I said, the future hasn't happened yet, and the past is something that's gone and can never be recaptured, but it always teaches us very important lessons.
That's a good point, because the difference between heaven and earth is on earth, we focus on the past, and there's always a lot of flaws in the past, so you can find something to be bothered about. And in the higher spheres, the focus is on the eternal now, and there's nothing in the past that bothers you. And because there's nothing in the past to bother you, you can only focus on the spirit and the joy and the positiveness of that's in the eternal now. And I'll add one more thing to what Scott said. He on an individual basis achieved a great breakthrough. And the next step up is to achieve that breakthrough with more than one person. So we're all in this together. And when we realize that we don't achieve complete liberation all alone, we achieve it with our brothers and sisters. And so Scott made a big step forward by sharing his experience. It's probably going to help several people that have really heard it and give them faith and thinking, well, I can have something like that happen to me. And so by sharing your experiences, your positive experiences, it helps to pull other people forward that need it. And no matter where you are, there's somebody out there that you can help, no matter where you think you are on the ladder of things. And there's somebody that you could help more than probably Jesus himself could help, because you are there where they are perhaps, and maybe a higher life isn't. And so there's a special place for each person here upon the planet. So don't think that your life is useful. There's a number of people out there that you can help and pull forward toward the state of liberation, soul contact, and eventual spiritual union. And
Hey, AJ,
yeah.
the one of the afterthoughts of this was that I felt like I was born again, and I mean literally born again into a new person, and not the way that certain Christians define that, but that those words describe to a certain degree what I went through. I really do feel like I was born again.
Yeah. Born again has several dimensions of meaning, and that's where a lot of people need to be, is where you were in that spiritual rebirth you're undergoing. So, and it's good that you told us about it, because I'm sure it will be inspiring to people who heard it. Okay, well, we're reaching near the end of our time. We won't have time for a regular lesson, but this has been a good conversation. Any other questions or comments for Scott?
Yeah, just see yourself, Scott, as a conscious disciple, like Joe said, living in the here and now, with one hand up to God and one hand out to your fellow man and fellow men and women. And there's always a place to serve. There's always someone asking for help on some level that you can be a server to. So just look for those doors of opportunity to open, and the more you serve, the more you'll live in the here and now, and your whole consciousness will shift. And pretty soon, everything that's ever happened to you is just a fog, a distant memory that has no pull on you. So just find ways to be of service. And there are a lot of people out there that can use your story or just your comfort, your support. Just be available.
That'll be something that's somewhat new to me, because I've been introverted and kept to myself most of my life. And I don't know if I am truly selfish and self-centered, because it's not that I don't want to help people, it's just that I haven't. If I'm given the opportunity, I turn away and just spend time with myself instead. And so that's it's something I got to work on.
We're here to support you in that.
One thing about these Zoom meetings, it kind of gives us more outreach than we would have had. We're lucky we didn't live in 1918 during the pandemic. They had no internet, no TV, no nothing, no television, no telephones. People were just stuck in their homes.
Had to rely on their neighbors.
Yeah. So we're fortunate we have the tools we have in this age. Okay, any other comments?
Well, I just want to say that we enter into life to go through these things, and sometimes to recapitulate other lives, to raise up the pool of consciousness for humanity, so that how our overcoming will aid everyone else in overcoming the similar things.
Yeah, it's interesting that when Scott had this experience, it seemed to affect this negative person at work and made him more positive. And that can happen sometimes. So that was an interesting aspect of Scott's experience. Like they say, everything we do produces a ripple in time and space that affects everything.
Guys, I can't tell you, I feel so good right now. I feel this had to take place, and I just feel so good that it's that I've done this. I've been fighting this for 10 weeks.
Well, I'm glad we decided to let you tell your story here today, Scott. And
Thank you.
Appreciate you, and hopefully we will see you all next week, next Sunday at 10 a.m. all being well. Until then, we will see you.
Good night and good luck.
Goodbye.
Hallelujah, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Goodbye.
And love everyone.
Love y'all
Good
too.
night.